Hey guys, James with TFBTV. Got a very special episode of TFBTV for you today. We are behind the scenes at Hollywood Weapons. I know if you guys are watching TFBTV, you've probably watched this program before. It's on Netflix, it's on the Outdoor Channel. They basically look at gun myths, things that you see in movies and in TV shows. Can you actually jump off of Nakatomi Plaza with a fire hose tied around you and shoot through a plate glass window and go through it? They are doing Breaking Bad today, and it's whether or not you can take an Etch-a-Sketch and blow up a door. We're gonna take you around the set. We're gonna talk to a few people, see how this show's set up, see what it's all about. Glad to have you along. Let's go take a look. We're behind set right now, and Terry Schappert, he's the host of the show. He's getting made up to look like Walter White.
Hey. We should have some hidden in our
Cut that out. But as you guys can see here, we've got a door, and we've got a little bit of bulletproof glass right here that they've set up because they're going to try to blow this thing up to see if you can actually do it with an Etch-a-Sketch. You guys can see it's a pretty sophisticated production. All this set up just for like 1 second of film. So why would they have a scale on a mini documentary about Breaking Bad? Well, obviously to measure methamphetamine weight, but in some circumstances like today, they're gonna be measuring thermite for the door stunt.
So oftentimes what we find on this show is that the exact way they did it in the show or movie doesn't always work, but maybe the next level of that works. Like, so what we're gonna try first is exactly the way they did it in the TV show, which was with a small propane held torch, like a plumber might use. We all sort of feel like that's not gonna be hot enough to get it to ignite. So then we have some magnesium strips that we're gonna try. And if that doesn't ignite it, then we have something even hotter that we're gonna try.
Open in the name of Walter White. Nope. At this point, I guess you're just gonna kick the darn thing in.
It's not often that I get starstruck on TFBTV, but here I am at the scene of Hollywood Weapons with Terry and Larry. We're here on site in Simi Valley, is that right?
Yeah, California.
Simi Valley, California, just doing the Walter White, the thermite test. You're gonna see what happens at the end of the video, but I want Terry and Larry to tell TFBTV viewers about your show generally.
I think it originally started out more as like just a straight test show, whereas like we test, if you see something on TV, a gun scene or something, can you really do that? Is a weapon able to do that? That kind of thing. But I think it's morphed over time, and I'm happy about that because I get now to play dress up. I get to play these characters. We bring in a lot of references from the movies. We've had some great celebrity guests. Tom Selleck's come on, Gary Sinise, and it adds to the whole thing. I mean, and the whole show, I would say, is not about debunking the movies because that's no fun. We're actually celebrating the movies. We're having fun with them. And we get to do kind of what we want, but we do everything we can as closely as we can to what the movie is trying to say. Did I got that right?
I think so, and one of the cool parts about the show as well is how much of the behind the scenes effort that goes into it is visible on the show. The audience actually gets to see how we build the test. It's not just, okay, we did it, we're moving on to the next.
Well, the crew has been working like busy bees, so we ready to rock?
I think we're ready. I mean, we've got a 4,000-gallon tank full of water here.
This show's got a little something, I hope, for everybody. If you're into guns, you'll dig the show.
Yep.
Okay, weapons hot.
Weapons hot. The 9mm Glock 17 is the exact gun that Hotch used to shoot through the windshield, and now it's time to see how it works in the real world.
If you're into special effects and how guys do that, how they make that happen on the show, you'll like what we're doing. If you're a big movie and TV geek like I am, you'll like it because you're gonna see the shows you like and you're gonna get the references.
We don't always win.
No, man.
The reality is we're testing this for real. It's not made up in any way. We're not, gearing a specific test to a specific outcome. We're running about 75-80% success
good,
rate,
though.
but there are times where the test just fails, and that was important to us too, that we're showing the audience we're not rigging the tests.
What's been the worst fail that you guys have had? What was the biggest bullshit lie, Hollywood lie, of any of the episodes you've filmed?
Well, I think the fact that we said initially that we're going to come up with a new show and it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I can confirm.
I think one of the tests that was the hardest one, though, and it turned out not to be a fail, but the ice test that we did.
Oh, yes, that was rough.
With the shotgun underwater, shooting up through the ice. Very difficult logistically, 90-some degrees weather, big sheets of ice. You could see in all the behind the scenes shot on that how difficult it really is to do stuff like that.
That was from the movie, that was from Frozen, right? Frozen?
No, I think you're thinking is a different, it was actually from Reindeer Games.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
good
Yeah,
one
good
though.
flick, good
one.
flick.
Yeah, good, actually, and that was the one that, because Gary Sinise was one of the bad guys in
Right,
that. So
yeah.
Gary Sinise came on and, you know, we were excited, I was excited.
You guys are talking a lot about the show, and I think you're not giving yourselves enough credit. I'm familiar with both of you guys. I know your backgrounds, and maybe people out there don't. Give us the resume. It's very impressive. Terry?
I don't know if it's impressive, maybe a little more schizophrenic. So I was, you know, I was an active duty Army guy. Most of that was Special Forces from 88 to 97. Kind of did what I wanted to do. I got out, went to classical theater school, was an actor on Broadway and in the theater and that kind of thing. And then 9/11 happened, so I joined back up to the military, National Guard Green Berets, was deployed constantly, training, JSETs, all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up getting my own series on History Channel called Warriors, and I've done a bunch of stuff all during that time. And the whole time I'm doing that, I'm still in Special Forces, still deploying, still training. Last 5 years, I was a team sergeant, so I ran my own team. You know, I retired in October 2016. I got lucky, man, though, because we were in the middle of filming season 1, actually at Gun Sight when I officially got out. And it was good because, you know, I had something to go back to.
That's interesting, but I mean, it just sounds like cliched. You know, I got into Spec Ops and then Broadway and then Spec Ops. I mean, you hear about that
It's
all
kind
the
of a
time.
run-of-the-mill story.
Right, it really is. So, I mean, now, Larry, why don't you tell us about hopefully you can do better than Terry.
So my dad was a mechanical engineer. He always used to work for defense contracting companies. I grew up in Israel. We always had guns in the house, served in the Israeli military, came back here, worked in law enforcement, private security, things like that. But I always really wanted to be a gunsmith. So I went to college to become a gunsmith, worked in the firearms industry for many years. And now for the last 20 years, I've been working in Hollywood, doing on-set work, doing some stuff at the shop, custom builds and things like that. I keep my hand in the real world by continuing to teach foreign weapons classes and things like that to the military and some government agencies and so on. But the key too about this show is it's not just me and Terry, as exciting as that sounds. There's such a big staff behind us.
Yeah, we got a
Tim
great team.
Kremen, Dan Ram, John Carter. Without the crew, the show would not be a success. And of course, those guys have a longer resume than we do.
We've been joking around a lot, but I mean, I have to say, being on set, watching you guys work, knowing your qualifications, it's been so damn fun. I mean, you guys
That's what we
you really
want.
have chemistry on screen and off screen.
The only way we're going to know if it works is if we test it.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Walk away. You're just a great couple of dudes, and it's been incredibly awesome.
Thanks,
of
man.
You guys to have us.
Good to have you out here, man.
Thank
And
you
I
for
know that
being here.
you've got it's makeup time for you, Terry. Right?
Yeah, because as you can tell, I have a full head of flowing
Luxurious.
locks.
Yeah.
By the way, your hair is fantastic. But I gotta go get. He's like, yes, score. So I've got to go get.
I'm feeling slightly uncomfortable.
No,
right
no,
now,
don't.
just so you know.
We're just dudes being dudes, man. Relax. So I gotta go get jocked up like Walter White and lose all the little hair I got left.
This is a serious pain in the ass,
But
though.
on a cool setting. In a cool
This is a serious pain in the ass.
So what if I mess up?
Then this is live.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sitting here with Molly. Molly's got the tools of the trade right here. Molly, what are we doing today for this episode of Hollywood Weapons?
Today we are making Terry look like Walter White. It takes about an hour and a half. I put a bald cap on him, give him a nice little mustache. So we do the full transformation into Walter White. It's pretty exciting. I actually started with Hollywood Weapons last September.
Don't lie to me. Does Terry mistreat you?
No, Terry is so nice.
I've heard
to me.
allegations. And I see the SIG hat. Are you a SIG fan?
I am a SIG fan. I went to SIG.
Oh, you went to SIG?
Yeah, I went to SIG with Gun Stories.
Okay, and how was that?
It was cool. It was awesome. I loved it there.
Molly, thank you so much for talking with
welcome.
me.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. Good luck with the transformation.
Thank you.
Let's have you guys side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me
Okay,
one more
then.
clap. Sync it. Sorry,
Okay.
let me turn away.
Guys, I'm here with Jack. Jack, what do you do on set?
So I'm in charge of GoPros. I'm the POV operator, and I'm also just a general camera assistant. So whatever Brooke and Joe and Gino need, I'm on it. You know?
What was the most intense shoot that you guys have had to do thus far for Hollywood Weapons?
Well, in season 2, we tested a shot from the movie Underworld, and the stunt was Kate Beckinsale fires 2 Uzis through the floor in a 360 formation, and the floor drops through. So we tested that. We had this big giant. They called it the Cage of Doom. It was this big pipe, speed rail cage, and then we put Terry in there, and he had a harness on, and he just shot.
Not as good
360.
looking as Kate.
Same outfit, different face though, So he had the leather suit on, and so we strapped him in, and he had 2 Uzis locked in, and just turned himself around, and it was huge. It was just, I had 6 GoPros running, and we almost lost a couple actually.
I'm standing here with the most talented camera team in Moore Park. No, in all seriousness, this is the camera crew from Hollywood Weapons, actually an Emmy award-winning camera crew. I've been seeing these guys hustling all day. Fortunately, I caught them in a little break because we're waiting for thermite. And I saw this gear, and I had to ask, what are we working with on today's episode?
Well, we've got one red Epic W helium. We have 2 of those. One's on a Movi. Joe Movic is running the Movi. We've got this one right here that's hard mounted, and then we've got a Sony F55 over here. Back there, we've got a Phantom Veo. We'll probably have about 6 GoPros and a drone. Mm-hmm. What else?
Osmo.
And an Osmo.
And what's the most expensive camera on the set? I imagine it's that Phantom, huh?
The body is, but if you actually total up what's on each one of these, the reds probably are just barely a little bit more expensive with all the lenses. So.
What are we talking about here? Dollars and cents. I mean, can I pick this rig up at Walgreens or like Fry's? Maybe I saw one of those.
99-cent discount at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably looking about 75 grand for each unit.
And how many of these units you guys have on the show?
2, 3, almost about 4 in total.
I'd say being on a range isn't the best for camera equipment or any audio or any kind of equipment, but just gotta clean it. Clean it up at the end of the day. Gets a little thick on there, so likes to get into the innards and gum up your lenses and everything. So makes things a little more difficult then.
So the camera crew we just talked to, they're behind me. They just got summoned, and they're setting up for this shot. They've got 1, maybe 2 shots to make this work. But you can see they're setting everything up, getting the high-speed cameras ready, the reds. And we'll see how it turns out.
Talk about it. So it's smoldering. I mean, all the
mainly
tape's,
the plastic bag.
yeah, all the tape's burning off. This is still hot. The question is, did it defeat the locking mechanism?
That's the true test, right? So the only way to know that is
Try it.
try to open the door.
I'll push it. First, I'll push it in general. No.
Try
really
the handle.
push it. Try the handle. No.
Have to give it a good kick.
I did! Thank you very much.
So this was actually a really hard interview to nail. We've got a narrow window to do it. The most important man of the show for Hollywood Weapons.
Count Terry's knucklehead science.
Very scary.
Sir, can you tell us what you've done for Hollywood Weapons?
Well, everything started on the season 1, episode 3. You know, the good, the bad, and Terry. I was the bartender there, and then after that, I've been, all kinds of things. I've been a vampire, I've been a trash collector, I've been a bear trap, I've been everything you can imagine, a food server. You know what, but I'm busy right now, so if you can please leave now.
No, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right, thank you.
God, that was intense.
By the time I went there, he lined up.
I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes look at Hollywood Weapons. I'm not a big TV guy. I know a lot of you guys aren't out there, but you should really give Hollywood Weapons a shot. You've seen in the past, there've been so-called gun shows, right? And they're not really that good or that accurate. But here with Terry and Larry, not only do they host the show, but they're the main technical guys too as far as guns go, and they know more about guns than probably anybody watching this or anybody at TFB or TFBTV for that matter. They've also got a fantastic production team backing them up, an awesome crew. We talked to all of them today. I've got to say thank you so much to Terry, Larry, the whole crew for having us out here. And by out here, I mean the compound. This is the range we're filming at today. It's in California. Really awesome of them to let us do this. Guys, if you want to see the show, it's available on Netflix or the Outdoor Channel. You can go to theoutdoorchannel.com/Hollywood Weapons. They are also taking suggestions if you want to suggest episodes or myths that you want them to try out. So I've got a whole new respect for the show after being here. I hope you guys do too. Thanks a ton for being with us today. I'll see you next week.